Hey, it's Mark Rodriguez here, and you're watching America's #1 cure for insomnia, the Diving Cutter Wrestling Podcast in our new location. And with me are...
William White, a.k.a. Ninja Panda in 1980.
Jack Knives from Jack Knives Reviews.
Wendy, also known as Ninja Jupi or Jupi Channel. As you see, I have two pairs of glasses here, so I'll be going back and forth between them. And now I'm going to turn this over to the one, the only, the one who has better eyesight than me, Johnny Rodriguez.
All right, guys, today we're going to be going over the recent Ring of Honor pay-per-view, Supercard of Honor 2024 edition. And as usual, their pay-per-views are kind of like just, like middle of the week and stuff. And you know how it takes so long for them to announce the matches. So it was this past Friday, the Friday after past Friday, you know what I mean? So there wasn't enough time for us to actually do a prediction because we didn't know what half the matches were. So we're skipping the prediction. We're doing the review now. Now, we did do predictions on our own. And of course, you guys got to trust us here because, it could easily be like, yeah, Jack voted for all the winners, that kind of thing. But no, we did our own predictions. And I'm sure that by now we've earned that credibility, But before we go into that, oh boy. So for AEW, and this is going to be like maybe an hour, 2 hours, second before we even get into Ring of Honor. But for AEW,
I think before we should even mention the whole controversy, we should talk about the positives because I really do think just to get the positives out of the way. No, not about this. But I mean, we did just have one of like the single best weeks of wrestling in general. Now, I'm not just talking about WWE. I'm talking about WWE, Ring of Honor, GCW, Stardom, New Japan. Like, it was like the ultimate week of wrestling for like everyone. And I think like, just to get a little bit of moment like, hey, man, this is really cool. And we are in a new era of wrestling because no longer are any of these entities strangleholded by the McMahon vice grip. It's all free range now. It's all interesting now. So I just think that's kind of cool that we finally can start a new era in a sense of like, not trying to sound like a mark, but in the sense of like, we can kind of appreciate wrestling again. I mean, I hate quoting The Rock, but he's kind of true. He's like, it's cool for the mainstream audience to like wrestling again, which is like, oh, that is cool. That is kind of cool. I think it's cool. I don't know. I just wanted to put that out there.
That's not good shit. And I say that from my prison cell, But, yeah. So anyways, everyone knows about the altercation All In with the whole Rio Glass Crimea River. The whole thing where I guess CM Punk and, Jack Perry had a disagreement about that. Then they went to do the show. Jack Perry had a match with Hulk that involved a car with Rio Glass, and during the show, the camera zoomed in, like, Rio Glass, Crimea River, or whatever. So there was an altercation backstage, and of course, as we all know by now, that led to CM Punk getting fired, and now he's with WWE and stuff like that. And I guess Jungle Jack was, he was suspended, and now he's in, I think he's in New Japan or some other place. Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah. So it's been a good while since all that has passed, but now the Young Bucks decided to bring it up again. It's part of an angle. They wanted to actually release the footage. It made everyone curious. We're all curious for a week or so. Like, are you going to do this? Are they really going to release the footage? Because what the fuck? Like, why? At this point. And also, like, is it going to be real footage? Is it going to be like the Young Bucks doing some kind of cartoonish reenactment with a, Nazi and punk dude or something? Or some other kind of junk, And even... what's his face? Cornette and them were saying that if they show the footage, but it's tampered with in any way, CM Punk has reason to sue, So they actually showed the footage, and I guess they're trying to do a weird angle where apparently FTR, I don't know how or what, but FTR, the match the Young Bucks have with FTR, like, I guess the Young Bucks, because they're EVPs, got so distraught and distracted by the CM Punk and Perry altercation that it made them lose the match against FTR
because they actually had to do their jobs and step in.
And they did all that stuff. So they released the actual footage, and mostly they just got into their face for a few seconds before Samoa Joe came in and separated them before anything could really happen, to be honest. And it wasn't a big thing. It caused a big divide. Some people are saying that CM Punk is, dangerous, and thank God you got rid of him. While other people are saying, like, dude, like everything CM Punk said was shown in the video exactly as he said. All they did was prove him right. So it's like a big, whatever. And even FTR did their promo talking about, can we just forget about this shit and move on? So even they, I don't know if it's in character or not, whatever, kayfabe, whatever, but even they're like, no, this is stupid. But that's the thing they're going with. They're turning it into an angle, but it makes no sense because the major person in that angle is gone. You know what I mean? For the other company now. And So anyways, I'll leave the floor for you guys to rant it on. I don't want to go for Johnny first because Johnny, it's kind of rare that he has this much to say. This is one of the times where Johnny remembers what happened. So it is kind of earth shattering.
Okay, so basically, I just saw the clip because they also showed that on YouTube as well. So I honestly, I don't even know where to begin.
Get my snack ready.
Okay, the whole thing is stupid because I had to side with FTR. Can we just keep going with the program and forget about this? Because everybody knows what happened. It's a big controversy. We know the whole thing. CM Punk got fired and Jack Perry got suspended or whatever. Like we know the whole controversy behind that, the whole controversial decision that Tony Khan decided that, just let go of CM Punk, but we're just gonna suspend, Jack Perry, because he was afraid for his life or whatever. Okay, the thing is, for so long, AEW tried to keep going with the program. The show must go on. Okay, this is a horrible thing that happened, but we have to keep going with the program and just make the best of this situation, And, AEW, I mean, they have done some good things recently. I mean, they have brought in Offspring, and I forgot who else. My mind's kind of foggy right now, but they have brought in some good additions to their programmings, and AEW is not perfect, but at least they're trying to go on with their show. But the fact that they decided this was a good idea to show such a controversial footage uncensored, the full clip, I can also say that even from AEW angle, it makes your company look very unprofessional because you see a big fight going on and everybody reacted way too slow on it. You would expect I don't know, security or something, but no, it's just this whole fight thing happened. Everybody's pretty much just sitting there, whatever. It's what the fuck, man? It doesn't make the AEW look like a safe company to work for. You have these locker room altercations and you don't got security. It's just so stupid. And then of course, I mean, this also shows what CM Punk was saying, that they're unprofessional, they're stupid. Tony Khan actually I don't know how the hell he approved this footage to be released on TV. It's just the whole thing is stupid and it's just dumb. I'm just so in shock that I'm lost in words. I'm not even to express myself properly, but basically this thing is just stupid. It's dumb. The Young Bucks, they probably thought, because they always think that everybody's going to be for them, everybody likes them, but they're not nobody's favorite. They're not everybody's favorite. A lot of people don't like them at all. So this footage actually makes them look worse than how they were, than they already were. They wanted to make themselves more heelish. I think this is the move they did. I don't know, maybe that's what they wanted to do, but it definitely didn't work in their favor. It is just stupid. It's horrible.
I'm gonna let Ninja go first, and then I'll go after.
Uh-oh. Got some pop.
Here we go.
Oh, goody.
Man. You
All
got
right. So here's the thing. For one, you have these incredible new talent coming in. You have Tanahashi. You have Ospreay. You have Swerve rocketing through the entire AEW. And what do? You go back and show some shitty Wembley footage with no audio, mind you, from damn near a year ago. And you think, oh, that's going to make the Young Bucks look better. That's going to make them look better. No, it's not. It's going to make them look like teetotal pricks. And it was the dumbest idea ever. But at the same time, it's the most genius idea ever. Hear me out. So here we go. We have this incident. Let's think a few years back during the Attitude Era. Now, there was the whole issue with Jeff Hardy and Edge because Edge actually slept with Lita, and Jeff was her boyfriend at the time. And what did they do?
Oh, hang on, I got to correct you. There was actually Matt. It wasn't
Matt.
Jeff.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Too many concussions from both sides. I don't know. But what did they do? They turned it into an angle. This is exactly what AEW is doing, but it's not going the way anyone expects. Here's my feelings on it, and hear me out. I have a feeling that they're going to do this to make Jungle Boy Jack Perry, after he comes off his suspension, a face, and make it so that he comes in with the story where he's going against, the dumb fucks, saying, hey, I've been a scapegoat. These guys have paid for nothing. They put me in the line of fire with this situation, and then they turned around and suspended me. And it's going to be a big revenge story all on the part of Jungle Boy. That's at least the way I see it. Now, if they don't play it from that angle, then yeah, all this was for fucking nothing but shits and giggles, and no one's laughing. Otherwise, that'd be the only reason why I even see this thing even coming up. It's fucking ridiculous.
Okay. So there's a reason I brought this out. This is a replica belt I built with, I actually had custom made. A friend of mine made it for me. It is a replica of the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. The reason I have this belt, not only is it because it's my favorite title belt in design, the belt itself is a representation of pure professional wrestling. What we saw last week is the opposite of what this is. Because the truth of the matter is, every single wrestling mark, radio station, or podcast, or whatever, or want to have the inner workings of why would they do this? Why would they do this? We know the only person who got it 100% right on the money is in this podcast, Jupi. He did it because it's his toys, and he wanted to play with his toys. And when one of his toys broke, one of his toys got stolen, he had a hissy fit, like a child that he is. The truth of the matter is, Tony Khan not only is not a boss, Tony Khan is barely an adult. Let's be 100% cards on the table here. Have you ever seen in any sport, pro wrestling, booker, director, writer, I don't care, in any fragment of the industry, have you ever seen anyone that's in a charge hug and grasp their talent the way he does?
Yep.
Good job there. Good job.
It's like get you a girl that hugs you the way Tony Khan hugs Cesaro.
Yes.
Well, Vince McMahon, but that's a different kind of hug.
Yes.
When Vince hugs you, his hands kind of go low.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Okay.
Right there.
I have to bring this up because it makes sense for the context of everything. The reason the whole thing came out isn't hyperbole. Every single wrestling promoter around the world this weekend was watching WrestleMania. WrestleMania weekend. It doesn't matter if you're a fan of WrestleMania or WWE, this was the most must-see WrestleMania of all time because it's the first without any McMahon involvement.
Mm-hmm.
Every wrestling promoter around the world, from A to Z, from Tijuana to freaking the mid-Atlantic, the freaking Antarctic, were watching WrestleMania because it was a matter of, can WWE survive without McMahon? Can it? What does that look like? And sure enough, it was probably one of, if not the best WrestleManias of all time from A to Z. But here's the thing. Here's the actual the thing. Khan, instead of focusing on, hey, put on a great show, he also neglected the points that those that did watch WrestleMania, everyone craps on, looks at the little points that Triple H made where he poked fun at, he didn't even poke fun at Will Ospreay specifically. He said any talent that is young, doesn't want to work, but wants the big bucks to work half as much, don't come here. And I'm glad I didn't sign you. That's not directed at Ospreay. That's everyone. He was also talking to probably Mercedes, who he knows. But here's the thing. This is the thing people do forget. Triple H did something at WrestleMania that Vince would have never done. He fully showed AEW kudos. During the main event of night 2, when it showed Cody's story, it showed Kenny Omega. It showed the Young Bucks. It literally said, all rights reserved to All Elite Wrestling. He fucking paid he gave them their dues. And yet, and like everyone's like, ooh. No, it's not. It's a matter of professionalism in and out of the ring. Khan can't understand it because he doesn't want employees. He wants friends. And it's so sad because he wants to pay to have friends. That's the truth of it is. And when his best buddy hurts on one of his other buddies, he doesn't want to get involved. So he wants them to handle it. I don't want to get involved. Dude, you're writing the paycheck because that shatters the illusion of him actually being a boss because he doesn't want to be a boss. He wants to pay them to be his friends. That's the truth. And so when I looked at this Perry situation, there's a couple points I think about. First of all, it's hilarious how many people have never actually been in a fight. It's astounding to me where they say, oh, this is pure assault. Oh my God. I'm like, first of all, what he did, what Punk did is referred to as a vet check. A vet check in the wrestling circle is when a young rookie who the boss can't handle, doesn't want to deal with, asks a veteran to deal with it. So what does the vet do? He goes up to him and is like, hey, I'm bringing it up to you, da-da-da-da-da. Then they plan accordingly. They shove the rookie, kind of like push, but that's about it. And then what does Perry do? This is the part people forget about. Perry tried doing a single leg takedown to CM Punk during the scruff. And Punk did a front face chokehold in the footage. It's all in the footage. And the proof that it wasn't a fight is exactly what Johnny pointed out. Look at everyone else in the footage. No one's like, everyone's like,
I'm fearing for my life in this fight that's going on in front of me where there's really nothing going on. What are you going to do?
Did you see my favorite part was after the scrap and you just see Malachi Black walking on screen with a cup of coffee like
Whatever.
It's like,
Hey, what about Hook Man? Hook.
Yeah. Joe picking up Jack Perry like the toddler that he is. Oh, mwah. That was great. But the funniest thing of it is the whole reason they released this, let's be 100% honest with this, it has nothing to do with them doing a storyline. That's horseshit. If it was a storyline, they would have released it, what, a month after firing Punk?
Mm-hmm.
It's been 8 months. 8
As FTR
since
pointed out.
Wembley. Why the hell are you bringing this up? Because you want to basically go, ha ha ha, we're going to make Punk look bad. You did the exact opposite. Not only did you make Punk look right, you turned your audience against you. Literally every time the Bucks have come out now, they chant CM Punk. Now every time Jack Perry enters an arena, they chant CM Punk. Anytime the Elite shows up, CM Punk. You have now turned your biggest enemy into your biggest detractor of your show. It literally has gone off the railings. And look at, if you rewatch the footage and when it cuts to before and it cuts to after Tony Schiavone, he has the most perfect face of a man who has just come back from Vietnam and got redrafted. That is the look that Steve Schiavone has. He's like, I watched.
He's like he's going through PTSD.
And you're bringing. He is. He's like this. He's like, okay. And it's so. And honestly, at this point, I'm like, I just can't. I think it's hilarious. And I'm a CM Punk stan, but this just added more of a reason why I love him, because everyone can say whatever they want about him. He's unprofessional. He's this. He's that. But he's not a liar. You can say whatever you want about him. He's an ass. He's this. He's rude. He's that. Is he lying though? No. And the proof was that you proved he's not a liar. I'm like, you want to release, if you really want to release controversy to tell a story, release the brawl out footage.
Mm-hmm.
Show the footage that made show the footage that I said, why don't you show all of the what about the backstage altercation with Sammy Guevara and Eddie Kingston? Or what about the backstage altercation between John Moxley and half of the other talent? Or the multiple altercations between Sammy Guevara and every single person that's ever walked in that damn locker room?
How is he
someone could be like, someone could cut a wet fart and he'd be like, what'd you say about my wife? And you'd be like, what?
That's the problem with Sammy. That is my issue with Sammy. CM Punk just choked. He didn't knock out Perry. He just choked him a little. What's wrong with that? But you got Sammy pissing everybody off, and the fool still hasn't been fired yet.
Yeah, and he's still not fired. And also, this is the other thing. Here's the big, from a wrestler, as a fan of wrestling who knows wrestlers, who knew wrestlers, this is the point that makes me laugh the hardest. You, in front of the world, emasculated one of your 4 pillars. One of your foundations of your company have been emasculated in front of the world by a person who's 20 years older than him. And your current world champion picked him up and tossed him like a toddler. This is... You got no one to blame but yourselves. And it's hilarious to me. And the proof is also the other controversy with Dynamite is that Ospreay, what the hell, dude? What the hell are you doing? You literally insult Triple H when it was literally just a nothing comment. Because the problem is showing this on Dynamite, and everyone that's worked in the industry says the same thing. When you do this on Dynamite, the podcast thing with CM Punk, not everyone watched that. So not everyone knew the context of that whole thing. And so, because it was on a podcast, just like how there's not going to be there's not a huge demographic for people watching us until you subscribe. But there's not a huge giant demographic of people watching us. So if something were to happen to us, and it's like us having our own wrestling program and then having whatever happens here happen to the program, and everyone's going to be like, what happened? It's the same stupid mindset that they tried doing at All In, the very first before AEW, where they're like, we're going to put in these Easter eggs from Being the Elite because everyone watches Being the Elite. And I'm like, no, they don't. But the problem is like, it's just pure unprofessionalism. It's pure child shit. And this is, as people have referred to, the reason people keep calling this the finger poke of doom of AEW is because the finger poke of doom was the beginning of the end for WCW. And I love how Khan's reaction is apropos of he knows he screwed up, because what is he doing? He's trying to DMCA takedown every time someone puts the footage. Even his own YouTube clip has the clip removed. So, because he's trying to wipe this under the rug, and then he has the balls to brag on Twitter, ooh, we went up by 60,000 views. I'm like, wow, that's like 5 points. Woo! AEW's average viewership is 700,000. WWE NXT, their average viewership is 1 million. You're not even in their ballpark.
I will say this though, the only reason the viewership probably went up on this past week of Dynamite was because he was going to talk about, release that footage, and everyone was going to be curious about it, who knew about it. And that was going to give it like an artificial raise in the ratings and everyone has to watch the show to see when they were going to show the footage. And then after they show the footage, they either go shut the TV off or, go to sleep. I don't know.
Now, one reason why ratings have also dropped down is because AEW doesn't have that many people watching to begin with. And before, when we were in different areas, I'd be watching over there and one would be watching here, and it'd be, 2 different people watching at 2 different TV sets. Now that we're in the same area, we only count as 1 viewer watching it, and that's making the ratings plummet.
Oh, of course. Right. I mean, they are plummeting, man. They are. But
it's not just that. Here's the other thing. This is also egg on their own face, because this whole debacle is 100% counter to the week prior of Edge doing that rah, guys. We love professional wrestling. We are going to be goodbye, good guys. Yeah. I'm like, no, you literally just detracted. This is the most professional kind. It's better than the Attitude Era. Nothing wrong could go on. I'm like, that is the most Looney Tunes Daffy Duck level irony I could have. It just reminded me of that scene when he was with Robert. I was like, up and away. And then next week, up and away. Up and away. It's going to happen, and I'm going to be here laughing my ass off.
After that footage, the amount of viewership was cut shorter than Sting's resignation speech.
Oh,
too soon? Too soon? I don't care. I'm still mad.
you already know my opinion on that whole footage thing. Like I said, it'll be nice if Panda is right about what they're doing, if there was actually thought involved.
But that's giving Tony Khan way too much credit.
Exactly. That's how I feel about it. But that's the only thing that could make sense if that is where they're going for. But it's still dumb. Like I said, they probably only did it because CM Punk did his interview. Tony got pissy about it. He said, well, we're going to show you you're a bad guy. And I'm like, and they showed it, and I'm like, so where's the confrontation? Where's the problem? Why was this wuss fearing for his life? What's going on here? What happened? No, hold on.
I mean, and I even have to agree with Jack. WWE showed them their props. They even put the AEW thing at the bottom. They even went as far as to put in segments in Cody Rhodes' promo where he was actually trashing WWE, where he hit Triple H's throne with the sledgehammer. And even that got put in there. No, and nobody even batted an eye.
See, that is good. That is true professionalism, and that's something I heard about that, and I'm glad that WWE, like Triple H, is doing that to let people know. Oh, we didn't create these wrestlers; they actually have passes. They passed, and they've been in other promotions, and here they are now. Cody was here before, but now he's back. I think that's actually good that they're doing that.
Yeah, it wasn't like that. I hope Cody, can wrestle good. He lost 7 or so years of ring rust or whatever, pretending he wasn't doing anything.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
and one other small little detail that I noticed in WrestleMania that's been happening at a constant since Vince McMahon is officially gone have you noticed less and less the term sports entertainment is being churned out and it's being called back into professional wrestling? Triple H said it.
Yep.
Michael
And not only that,
I'm gonna teach
not only that, this WrestleMania not only marked a new era. People keep thinking it's a joke. It actually is a new era. The proof in the positive is that WrestleMania weekend, for the first time ever, and they never reported on it. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? That should be the news story. WrestleMania weekend, they had multiple wrestlers contracted to WWE working indie shows. Shayna Baszler wrestled Masha Slamovich at Bloodsport. Like actually wrestled her. And it was a great match. I'm like, that acknowledging another company, actually talking to the idea of working with other companies, which Paul has said, 100% behind that idea. But I think we need to get our footing first. Fair response. That's a fair response. And could you honestly, Mark, you and I have been watching wrestling for a long time, and so has Rick, and so is all of us have. Could you ever in a billion years imagine Vince doing that?
No, Vince always like, you know how Vince was. Vince is already like, no, I made you. This is good shit because it's my shit, so it's good shit. I made you. You were in no other promotions. You're here, you know. And if you go away to another company, we're just to get two fakes of you to act like it is you because, you know, I own you.
I mean, what's Scott Hall saying Chico and with the toothpick? That's not good shit. You stop that shit right now. You know,
for God's sakes, there's a part in CM Punk's interview where Keith Lee cleanly walks by like he's a rare Sasquatch sighting.
Yeah, he just walked him. They didn't block.
They didn't clip it out. It was just, yo, you're in the way of his shot. Just move. That was it.
One thing I was going to add is to kind of like what you guys are pretty much saying that honestly, the only thing this footage proves is that they're so salty as fuck that CM Punk is no longer with them. And it just shows, man, like, come on, like CM Punk has moved on and he's in WWE. You know, I heard he's doing great over there. And then what does AEW does? They just go back in time to release that footage. And it just makes them look so salty that they had to release a footage of a wrestler that no longer wrestles there.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Sorry.
If anything, the one person they should have been salty at was the one person that won at WrestleMania, who was Cody Rhodes. You know, the guy that, I don't know, practically invented your fucking company. I mean, he was literally one of the guys. He was, under Tony Khan, he was the guy when it came to AEW. And he turned around and he left. Turned around and made a bigger name for himself in a venue that he was forsaken in and won the championship and ended the story. But you're too busy fantasizing over CM Punk.
Right. And the other thing is that
has no titles, hasn't even had a real match.
Yeah. Here's the funny thing is that we all may have forgotten. The truth of the matter is, looking back on it, Cody, AEW fans treated Cody like shit for a long time. Like they really, he was just trying to do his own thing, you know, be a good guy, and no one believed it because he was like, the way they built him was he was a silver spoon up his ass. But in reality, that was the Bucks. But they portrayed Cody in that regard. I mean, even comparing him to MJF, who that's his whole character. And it just didn't work because, and the fans turned on him, Rick, famously during that one tag match where Cody kept throwing his belt and they threw it back at him. Like it's sad because it's kind of like, you, to quote the Joker, you get what you fucking deserve. But like right now, people don't even know what right now. Punk is still currently injured and he's recovering. But in his off time, a lot of people don't know what he's been doing. He hasn't been on TV too much, maybe once or twice. The majority of the time, he's actually just been backstage and taking notes and waiting to talk to the young talent, primarily in NXT. Like he's giving them tips and shit. I'm like, wow, that's wow, he really is like and he even said like that's all he ever wanted to do was just kind of like honestly, I'd say Punk maybe has like another 2-3 years, hopefully hopefully 4 or 5. I'm fingers crossed 4 to 5. But if he has like 2 to 3 good more years, I'll be happy because I know his brain is so much more useful than his body is because him and Paul Heyman, they're just guys that are like, they get it. Like Edge has a creative mind too, but I know for a fact they're not going to let him use it. Edge came up with ideas and stuff way back in the 90s that no one never took advantage of. And like, but that's the thing is like, you have a creative mind working for you, AEW, and you don't want to use it because you just want to do the same song and pony dance. And I'm like, that's exactly what Vince did. He would hire talent with zero regard of how smart or what they brought to the table. He just goes, hey, you have a name? Get on board. That was it. And it's it's so stupid. I'm kind of waiting. I'm just waiting. At this point, I'm just like, I feel like a time traveler who went to Chernobyl before it exploded. I'm like, well, this was avoidable, but I'm going to laugh.
The only thing I gotta say though is that I'm actually wondering how long AEW is gonna last because this is really hurting their brand. Like you have to admit, like this is just like a very bad decision they did. And I
can't guarantee many things in this world, but I can almost guarantee I do not think AEW will last by WrestleMania 50. I don't see that happening. The trajectory that it's going, I just don't see that happening. It's not like TNA, who are the phoenix of wrestling, just keep not dying.
AJ Styles is gone. How are you not dead?
AEW is more like a stunt performer who just keeps doing dumber and dumber shit and going, well, I survived jumping off of that train, so why not a Japanese bullet train? And you're like,
ouch.
Okay.
Yeah, meanwhile, in all actuality, in other news, Jordan Grace was actually injured with a really bad back injury for carrying TNA for the past 3 or 4 years. So, yeah, there's that little bit of information for you.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, anyway.
The thing about TNA, right? Like, despite it, like I guess kind of dropping from the public eye, it never really did go away, did it? It was always just there.
Nope.
Just people didn't watch it.
It changed its name, changed ownership, changed dynamic, went more comedic. It literally, everyone has said, it is the phoenix of wrestling. It just will not die. Honestly, that's the only thing. The only thing, honestly, that has any sort of value on the indie circuit to the mainstream wrestling is honestly the back catalogs. So, like, if TNA folds, whenever that is, if that ever happens, that back catalog of current active wrestlers, dude, just AJ Styles alone, like his back catalog alone is worth the price of all of those videotapes, or Ring of Honor.
Classic Samoa
Joe. God.
Don't forget that.
Classic Joe. Yeah, man. Like that, him and Ring of Honor, like that's the thing is like, I'm like, man, if you want to show Joe at his toughest, show Ring of Honor Joe. You have the tapes. Like release a DVD set of Best of Samoa Joe.
Oh,
I'd buy it.
Actually, you know what would really piss AEW off? In one of those matches, you know who's going to show up. It was going to be Samoa Joe versus CM Punk when he had the long, scraggly hair, and his finisher used to be the Pepsi plunge.
Anyway.
That's another thing, too. It's a shame because if AEW does go down they're gonna take Ring of Honor with them, and I hate that because I like that Ring of Honor got a second chance and everything. You know,
Yeah.
when it's gonna at least survive a couple of more years. We'll see, like you said, we'll see if they're still here by WrestleMania 50, unless they're smart and sell Ring of Honor to someone else or something. But I just don't want Ring of Honor to get absorbed into the WWE with the backlogs because then it's gone. You know, because for example, WCW is gone. I know you can watch the footage and they own the rights, but the actual organization is gone. I kind of don't want Ring of Honor to be like just gone and just be absorbed into, you know, the WWE Network's back catalog if the network still exists anymore or whatever.
I think honestly, more than likely, knowing Hunter and his respect for different companies, like specifically a company like Ring of Honor, if he were to absorb Ring of Honor and buy everything like from A to Z of Ring of Honor, yeah, he would, you know, have the whole archives and everything. And once it gets settled, who knows? I mean, it's a possibility, but hear me out. What if he closes up NXT and turns it into Ring of Honor?
Ring of Honor.
Then you could literally make it its own promotion, and then you could have a whole, you know, Survivor Series of Ring of Honor versus WWE kind of thing. And I'm like, that'd be kind of cool. I'm just saying, it's a possibility. I'm just saying, it's just an idea. But anyway.
Oh, I'm saying like the thing I didn't get with the footage is that I don't get why Tony Khan in general feared for his life based on that little bit of stuff. And I was saying, I work with toddlers. They could take out Tyler. They could take out Perry. Seriously, I'm a teacher of toddlers. They're more threatening than Perry. Probably, if he wanted them to be. But seriously, I mean, Khan would be scared of them. You know, say kid throw a toy. Oh no, he fears for his life. I don't know, it's just weird. I mean, and I think it's just most likely something probably seen with the Bucks. The Bucks probably just always want an excuse to get rid of Punk, and they just use that as their excuse. And like we all know, Tony doesn't have real friends. He probably buys his little action figures and treats them like they're his friends. And the friend was like, I don't like that one, but we're your real friends. Yeah. Yeah, Punk has to go because I fear for my life. I waited a week to fire him because I know I don't want to get the buys back for for All Out, you know, because, you know, we'll lose money in business that way. That's why I want to tell him the day before All Out when no one can get their money back. Seriously, that's probably the only reason they did that. He did that because, like I said, if he was really that much of a threat, they would have fired him on the spot.
Yeah, the other thing I was saying too, like the footage makes it sound like CM Punk was just running around. Like he was so angry, he like socked out Jack Perry, socks out one of the refs, socks out what's her name, the female ref, I forgot her name temporarily.
Aubrey,
socks out Aubrey, Shivani, anyone in the way, and he's marching towards Khan's office before he finally gets tackled down by Joe or something. You know what I mean?
No, I was thinking.
Hey, now. Don't get me wrong.
I was thinking about the thing with
but if
Shawn
he touches my girl Aubrey, we're gonna have words.
No, I was just thinking about the thing with Shawn Michaels where he was like, he was upset and he just kicks Stan.
He just super kicks everybody down the hallway.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking. Yeah, I loved how Chris Hero coming out in his just him coming from behind the table with his fuchsia polo. That was more threatening than Jack Perry. Like him just going. Like that was a more of a threat than Jack Perry because Chris Hero's a big dude, but I just like laughed because I'm like, wow, the dude in fuchsia is more threatening than you. And the funny thing is also adding to that, recently at New Japan Windy City Riot, Perry came out. You hear CM Punk's music. He comes out with a Chicago flag and he has a jacket on the back. It says Cry Me a River. And he literally tried doing the GTS and he lost. And I'm like, wow, Punk must save a fortune living rent-free in AEW's head. Like, oh my God. Also, what kind of brag is that? What kind of brag is that, man? I got my ass kicked by a middle-aged guy. I'm hardcore, yo.
Yeah, what? I don't have any more to add to that because you guys brought up all the really good points.
No, the thing is, I saw you say that, but I didn't know you were like serious. I was like, He really did that? No, I thought you were being like,
I was
like
at work reading
sarcastic
that.
or
I was
something.
I was at work reading that. I was trying not to laugh out loud because my students were sleeping, and I was like, I was like,
Oh, that's embarrassing.
yeah.
I thought you were joking. I thought you just made up the scenario, like this is bad.
No.
It's him walking down a CM Punk's theme with Crimea River. Like I didn't know you actually did
No,
that.
it actually happened. It actually happened last night. Yeah.
That is
I'm like,
so
I'm not joking about it. He literally did that last night at Windy City Riot. You thought I was kidding. No, I'm dead serious. I wish I was making up this. And I'm like, oh, you are. I don't even need to make a joke. You are the joke. That's the funniest thing.
So yeah, I mean, there isn't much more we can add to that. I mean, seriously, you cannot top that level of embarrassment and the fact that, yep, this made Tony Khan, and also too pointing out what Jack was saying about the vet check thing. I mean, if you get like most of the older wrestlers talking, especially those that were in the territory days, they're pretty much saying, "Hey, no big deal. That's just how it goes. I mean, they're gonna quote unquote kick your ass if you get out of line." The vets do that because they're teaching you like, "Hey, you're supposed to do this. Respect the older wrestlers. You're supposed to respect the veterans. You're supposed to respect their guidance and their wisdom and their, because
Right.
they've been in the business for a while and
Right.
they didn't do that." And also,
Right, and
it's dumb with the rental thing, because if it is a rental car and they damage it, regardless of if they pay for it or not, what company would want to rent to them and risk that liability? You know what I mean? So that is also kind of dumb. And that's why even with WWE, when let's for example, when Stone Cold put the cement into Vince's car, that car was bought and it wasn't rented.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing is literally I mean, hell, the government, the old point of it is you're not just when you're a booker, you're in charge. I mean, hell, we saw the last review we guys did together was the stupid freaking Revolution with Darby Allin doing the stupid glass spot. The proof is in the product, man. And that's the funniest thing is like the immaturity is, it's not even the inmates running the asylum. It's the inmates throwing grenades in a whole bunch of cages with monkeys. That's literally what it is. It's like, all right, now hear me out. We're going to get all the fireworks from Tijuana and we're just going to shoot them up. Yep. He had a Crimea River jacket, but he was carrying a Chicago flag, and then he came out to CM Punk's music, had a Chicago flag and dropped it in the back. It said Crimea River.
That is so sad.
And the way the match ended was him doing the GTS and setting up the finisher, and then the guy reversed it and he beat him. This is their gimmick. This is his gimmick, is living in the shadow of Punk. Way to go.
So you can say that Jack Perry fell for his cult of personality.
No, you can say 100% Perry Genetti'd himself.
Perry screwed.
He did. Yeah, he Genetti'd himself. He's like, I'm still a rocker, you guys. I'm like, dude, you're 60. Fucking stop.
Even Sean has moved on from that one, of course. But of course, okay. So,
Another incident that dealt with glass, but we're not going to go there.
another suspicious thing before we move on too. Like with All Out, they did sign the NDAs, and I was joking and said, well, at All In, they didn't want to release the footage because they had to clear all the NDAs, but I know they didn't do it. But why didn't they have them do NDAs unless they were always, planning on, maybe they were sitting on this and maybe planning on using it against Punk in some way in the future?
My thing,
I
know, I'm not sure with Khan. I know the Punks are that. I mean, the what are the fuckheads are that petty, because they were the ones that also did that prank on Punk that made him get lost somewhere in England, and then the fans had to help him get this towel or whatever.
No,
so
that wasn't a prank either, because what happened recently with the boys. I don't know if you guys know about that whole thing. The boys, the two guys.
Yeah, they got released or whatever
Because of
they got fired. They released the DMs about what happened. They basically said that what happened was that basically management told them to talk to this travel guy. The travel guy was the Bucks' friend. He's the same guy who fucked over Punk. So that way he would have receipts and saying, oh, they refused to show up to the airport we told them to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That part I didn't know.
But like, why would the Bucks have a problem with the boys though? They're so
because they're friends with Punk.
Yeah.
They were friends with Punk.
I wasn't joking when I said that. I think they're like legit. You know, I think they get along with Punk okay. And Punk did say
half of the people
friends in AEW.
Yeah. What were you gonna say? What were you gonna say, Johnny? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, I was just gonna add that. That part. The AEW, they also like released a lot of wrestlers. They released the boys in the middle of a storyline thing that was going on in Ring of Honor. It's just like, I don't know, AEW really doing a lot of weird, stupid decision making.
They released Dasha.
They released Dasha. They released almost every one of the Dark Order because they were all friends with him. They haven't released House of Black because they're too popular right now. So,
but all I can say is that what I hate about AEW, they keep doing this, is that their controversy sells more than the actual product itself. Because even right now, like honestly, we should really be focusing. I know we're going to spend a bit, but we should really be focusing on the Super Card of Honor pay-per-view. Yeah. But this controversy, it's so juicy.
It's so hard not to.
That it's like now we're all talking about this instead of the pay-per-view. You know what I mean? Like that's just like, and AEW had the tendencies to keep selling the controversy more than the actual product itself.
We might have to make this whole part a separate episode, Mark. That's the only way this is going to work.
Justin?
Yeah, we're going to do that.
Yeah, because.
But my question is, if they got rid of Dasha,
it's 10 o'clock now.
If they got rid of Dasha, then who is properly gonna say Hikaru Shida when she's introduced, man?
At least you know how to pronounce names correctly.
Yeah,
that's true.